My name's Aaron. I am one of the assistant store leaders here at Scheels. I've been with Scheels for about 2 years, and I am lucky enough to be over bikes, the service shop, as well as ski and alpine ski. What brought me here though is bikes, and the whole reason that I work at Scheels and I have a job here and I've worked all these years in bicycle retail is because of bikes and because of getting into riding with my parents at a really young age. Both my parents were marathon runners growing up. When I was young, my mom blew out her hip, my dad blew out his knee, and when I was in elementary school, they were looking for something to do. And they found bikes, and I still remember going to the bike shop with my parents at probably 10 years old, and they're like, hey, if you want to try, we're going to get you this bike over here, but if you want to try riding mountain bikes with us, we'll get you this really nice bike. So I, of course, being the little kid, was like, yeah, I'll try it. I want the cool bike. That sounds awesome. And like I said, I was probably 10 years old. I'm 30 years ago now, and that's brought me from Wisconsin, allowed me to, one, spend a ton of time growing up with my parents that my brother did not do. So got to have a lot more quality time with them, that, you know, going out and riding bikes and doing stuff together, that looking back, like, I hope I can do that with my kids, because that was a really cool experience. On top of that, that led to me having the chance to I got into racing bikes. I got into racing on the velodrome, which we have here in town. We'll talk about that. But brought me to World Championships. I got a chance to live at the Olympic Training Center, so I moved out here and spent a couple years as a resident athlete over at the training center, all because I got into riding bikes with my parents at a really young age. So luckily, we live in Colorado Springs, and Colorado Springs is by far one of the best cities to ride a bike in, no matter what style of riding you want to get into. So whatever you guys all want to do, it doesn't matter. It's here for you, and we don't have to go very far, and we have a lot of resources here to help you guys get out and do that. I like to think that we're one of those resources. We have myself down in the bike shop, as well as Jason and Chris, who's here as well. You guys will get to talk to. If we can help you guys figure out how to get out there, that's what makes us really happy and what makes going through the day a lot better. So please use us. Our shameless plug, we do have an event coming up with Kids on Bikes, a local nonprofit here in town, later this spring. That's going to be free, and we'll have 150 kids this year open slots for. So watch our Facebook page for that. Super fun event. But wanted to start just by talking about what type of riding there is. Bikes can mean a lot of different things, and obviously we have a splattering of bikes up here, and it can mean everything from the skinny tires you see riding out on the road bike to the video was playing when you guys came in, and everything in between there. So what I do these days is mountain biking. So we have a hardtail mountain bike over here. We have a ton of city parks here in Colorado Springs. Every single one of them, no matter which one you live close to, has really, really good riding. And then there's other stuff on the edges of the city that you can get to as well. But there's fantastic riding for world-class mountain biking just here in the Springs that you can get out and do. On top of that, going up to you have the skinny tires, so you have road riding, and not something you typically think about doing with a family, but I will tell you that I grew up doing it with my parents and going out for longer road rides, and it's not typically the first form of riding you get into, but it's definitely here and accessible. Then you have gravel riding, which looks a lot like a road bike, or it can look like a hardtail mountain bike. And that's, we have all of our gravel paths here in town, as well as gravel roads, Rampart Range Road and Gold Camp Road, which you can ride for a really long time, sometimes without seeing any cars. My favorite these days is riding with my kids. So we have a huge amount of gravel trails and neighborhood trails. So you have Santa Fe Trail, Cottonwood Creek Trail, and these different types of riding. And really any type of bike that you want to use for that can work. And then on the end there, we have velodrome riding. That is, you got to throw it on there just because we have here in Colorado Springs one of a few velodromes in the country, and those are the banked oval tracks that you ride fixed gear bikes on. They're currently going through some renovations over there, so the training center or the velodrome is not currently open with the Kids on Bikes program, but Kids on Bikes is a local nonprofit. They run Learn the Velo programs for free for kids over there when that is up and running. And that is one of the, we just got done with Winter Olympics. Racing on the velodrome is one of those pathways for making the Olympics that a lot of people take. And it's right here in town.
I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
How long is the Kids on Bikes? Is it a one-day thing?
Yeah, it's what we do, the sign up will go until it's full. But the event will be an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and we'll have sign-up slots.
Oh, sweet. Is it in the summer?
It'll be in May?
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, of course. All right, so family bike paths. Like we said, we have Pikes Peak. That's me and my son out on Cottonwood Creek Trail. We have the Pikes Peak Greenway Trail. We have the Santa Fe Trail, Rock Island Trail. Kind of wherever you live here in town, there's either a paved or gravel path that you can get to pretty quickly. And you can use that to just do a ride on by itself, or you can use it to get to other places and get out with the family. Not aggressive riding, just super fun and accessible. Then you have my favorite, which is trail exploration. This is just a small little piece of open space that's between neighborhoods. And where I ride with my kids the most is going to be on those local neighborhood trails, going out and just letting them decide where we go and just making use of it. It's not a long path or anything crazy, but we can do it from the house. There's trails close to where we live, and it's super fun, and he gets to choose, and there's all this fun little stuff that you can find in between there. Like I said, we do have mountain biking here. This picture was taken over in Cheyenne Canyon, and there's a really cool trails up in there. Some of them are really aggressive, and some of them are a little bit easier. But there's everything from green trails to black trails, and everything from getting started and bringing out kids out there and getting them on the bikes. I can tell you I've taken my 6-year-old on some of those trails, since he was like 3 years old on his Strider, all the way up to, things that I don't want to ride myself. And then we are lucky enough to have a handful of local bike parks here in Colorado Springs. Panorama, that's over off of Powers by Airport area. There's a new park out there, and they have a really cool park, but there's all kinds of stuff out there. But there's also this trail system, which is really fun to go out there and ride with the kids. I will tell you that every time I go out there with the kids, we bring the bikes, we ride for a little while, and then they end up, on the playground and doing whatever, and then we ride some more, and it's a great time. Over in more central part of town is Goose Gossage, has a skate park and dirt jumps and kind of like a dirt path area you can ride over there. That's over by Guard of the Gods area over there. And then also El Pomar Park. They have a bike-specific park that looks really similar to that. They have a pump track and a couple lines with wooden features that the kids can ride on. That's a ton of fun. Again, I was bringing my kids out there when they were still in training wheels and Striders and push bikes all the way up to now. And there's stuff that, bigger kids that are more aggressive, or even myself, can have fun on, and also the little kids can have fun on stuff too. There's El Pomar Bike Track. That's the pump track over there. So that's what the velodrome looks like. So that's what brought me out here and what I got to do, and we're lucky enough to have a velodrome in our backyard. So that's going to be the single gear, no brakes, big bank track that's all an oval. Really cool place to learn how to ride, and they do have that free program that kids can get out there and learn it once it's back up and running again. So where to go? We are one of Trek's biggest partners, and we've had a really long relationship with Trek. They're a great company out of Wisconsin that makes really good bikes. They've recently launched an app called the Ride Club app, and they have turn-by-turn navigation in there for local rides that you can do. So it's a great resource to get on there. They'll give show the map and show you what it is, and you can get on there and do the ride on your phone, and it'll tell you exactly where to go and what to do. So the other thing, so we talked about Kids on Bikes. So they, like I said, are a local nonprofit, and we do our one-day thing with them, but more importantly, they have after-school programs, they have bike camp programs, they even have earn a bike programs where kids can earn a bike for free by showing up and participating in the after-school program. So really cool program that we have here in our city. They have more information on their website, but they also have bike libraries where they're taking Connexes, the metal trainers or metal storage containers, and they fill them with bikes. And they have programs set up where kids can earn those bikes and get a bike for free. And then the favorite part is, depending on how old the kids are, but whatever you're getting into, is the snack to ride ratio. Is when you're going out for a ride, especially when people are new and getting into it, you have that actually doing the ride, but do not forget to, 1, bring snacks, and 2, bring more snacks, and then maybe some more snacks after that. And planning time into that ride and allowing them to just have fun and just go out. And this is over at Austin Bluffs Open Space. There's a big, not very exciting, but just big dirt road that goes through the middle of the park. And we were out on a ride, and we stopped and played in the sand for probably half an hour. And it was a super fun time, and everybody had a great time riding. So Colorado Springs does have mapping that they put out on their parks page that they have published for free that shows all of those city-owned gravel or paved paths that you can get on and see. And then obviously Kids on Bikes, we've talked about them a little bit, does a lot of things for our community, and you can find a lot of information on there. And then please use us as a resource as well. So now we are going to break up a little bit, and we are going to have Chris talk about helmets, and Jason's going to talk about what to bring with on a ride and how to use it. Before we do that, does anybody have any questions, or what's up?
What are the age group limits for the velodrome?
They start at, off the top of my head, I want to say right around 12 years old.
Okay.
Yep.
The no brake thing, I was like, is that a real thing?
It is a real thing. We have one of the bikes up here, and it's a little deceiving because yes, you don't have brakes, but you also, it's a fixed gear, so that when the pedals are moving, the brakes are moving. So you can stop. It takes a little bit of practice by putting pressure on those pedals. But the other thing about that is it's a completely enclosed system, and no one on that track has brakes. There's no cars, there's no dogs, there's nothing running around, so there's not typically a reason to have to slam on the brakes, and you're normally just fine. But it does take a little while to get used to because it's an odd feeling.
Well, this group is a little smaller than the last one. That's okay. So what we're going to do is we're just going to introduce ourselves. My name is Brian. I'm one of the assistant store leaders here at Scheels. I have been with the company for coming up on 4 years now. I am a native of Colorado Springs. Or do we have any other natives here in the room? Woo! Love to see it. Yeah. We're a rare breed nowadays. But growing up here in Colorado, I was practically raised outdoors. I have very fond memories of going outside when I was a kid as much as I could. Most of my days were spent outdoors in a field with my friends after school. Definitely had a lot of injuries back then, but I also made a lot of great memories in the process. And that kind of led me to really developing a deep love and passion for the outdoors, including camping, which is what we're going to be talking about today. But I do also hike. I love to fish. Anybody here like to fish as well? Sweet. You guys should all try it. It's a lot of fun, trust me. And yeah.
Awesome. Hi there, my name is Jacob. I'm one of the specialty shop managers here at Shields. I'm in the camping department. I've been a native to Colorado, same as Brian. Did basically the same stuff as Brian. I grew up living in the outdoors. I spent most of my time hiking behind my mom's house in the bluffs, still getting all these scratches and injuries. A lot of good memories though. I'm an avid hunter. I love to fish. And I absolutely love to camp. It's one of the main things that I'm very passionate for, hence why I'm in the camping shop and I'm a manager. But yeah.
My name's Steven. I am the other camping shop manager with Jacob. I'm also a native of Colorado Springs, but we moved to Montrose and that's where I grew up. So I lived 90% of my life up in the mountains, no, next to the mountains. I love to camp. We started camping when I was a kid, when I was about 7. Our first time we went camping, my dad took and tied a rope between 2 trees, put a canvas tarp over the top of it. We put our blankets from our beds on the ground, and that was how we camped. Today's camping experiences for me are a lot better than they used to be. But I still love to go. I started taking my kids when my daughter was 3, my son was just under a year old, and even in their 30s, they both still love to camp as well. So it's a tradition passed down from my parents to me, from me to my kids, and from my kids to their kids. But I get out as much as I can. My favorite thing to do in the world is be up in the mountains. So I'm glad to be here and help all of you get a taste of what it takes to, what you need to go up into the mountains and do a little bit of camping.
Perfect. So just a quick question for all of you. By a show of hands, how many of you have been camping already? All right. Wow. Okay. So that's already a lot more than the previous group. Man, you guys are already experts.
Let me qualify that question. How many of you camped in your backyard?
Yeah, that's the real camping.
It was not my choice though. We're finishing the floors.
Oh,
We
okay.
had to sleep in the backyard.
Awesome. Okay, well, how many of you plan on going camping this summer? That's what I like to see. Yeah, maybe? Maybe. Fair enough. Okay, fair enough. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is we are going to divide you all into 2 separate groups. And the way that we like to do this is we just want you to at least get your hands on the gear. Since you all have been camping before, I'm pretty sure a lot of this is going to look familiar. Some of it may or may not be familiar, and some of it may be brand new. Something that I found out once I actually got into the camping world here at Shields is there's a lot to it. There is a lot to it, and I'm pretty sure these 2 would agree. It can get really technical, but it really doesn't have to. So ultimately, we are just going to be showing you the basics of what you need when you really just go out there and you want to have fun. So what I'm going to do is, let's see.
We're talking more back cart, right?
Yep, cart camping. So what I mean by that is you can also call it like dispersed camping. It just means driving to a spot, setting up your campsite, and that's where you go. We're not going to do anything with like backpacking or anything like that. That's when it starts to get like very, very technical. Before we actually start though, I did make a quick presentation with just a list of free dispersed camping sites that you all can go to. Feel free to take pictures if you want to, if you need like a good list of some starting sites. So let's see. Okay. Alrighty. So the first one is going to be Rampart Range Road. This is a 50 to 60 mile dirt road that gets you from Colorado Springs all the way to Woodland Park or vice versa. One of the entrances is actually through Garden of the Gods. Have any of you guys driven this road before? It's really pretty, isn't it?
And all the camping there is free, right? It's not.
Not all of it. So that's where you have to be a little careful with this site specifically. Some of it you do have to pay for, but there will be signs that'll say either you need a reservation or you don't. But there are dispersed sites along this road. I personally have been camping up there in dispersed camping sites. You can absolutely find them. It is a 50 to 60 mile dirt road though, so that's a long expanse. They are up there. Some of them are just a little bit more hidden than others. The next one is this one. It's kind of hard to find exactly where to go, but the key points are going to be near Florissant, Divide, and Lake George. So a lot of these areas you can find by word of mouth of locals, or you can contact CPW. They will also, I believe one of you was mentioning that as well. They can give you some good insight on places around here as well.
CPW, Colorado Parks and Wildlife.com.
Yep. So they're the ones that kind of manage everything that has to do with the outdoors here in the state. With this road, as well as Rampart Range, which we just spoke about, four-wheel drive cars are recommended due to road conditions. They are not always required though. I would just be careful though. Make sure you pay attention to what the weather has been doing the past couple of days before you go. Since they are dirt roads, they do have a tendency to get washed out, but it does take a lot of that for that to even happen in the first place. The next area is going to be Mount Herman Road, which is actually 15 miles north of our store. It's to the west of Monument. Same deal, four-wheel drive recommended, but it is not required. You do have to drive several miles into it. It's just going to keep going up and up and up in elevation, but eventually you'll hit a point where you will find dispersed camping sites all over the place. Next area is going to be Old Stage Road. This one is a little bit further down south. It is located by the Broadmoor Hotel. This is a 5.2 mile dirt road that leads to Cripple Creek. A little fun fact about this guy is this used to be a mining road where there were train tracks that led from Colorado Springs all the way to Cripple Creek. Teddy Roosevelt was actually one of the guys that rode that train back in the day when we were collecting minerals from Cripple Creek. They would put them on the train and then send them on over to Colorado Springs. Have any of you guys been up these roads before or any of these locations? Ever heard of them?
I've heard of them, but I haven't camped on them.
Okay. I know these two as well also have a lot of other spots that they know about as well that they can tell you. I pretty much just picked the closest areas to Colorado Springs and our store. Colorado has dozens upon dozens of locations you can go to. Some of them you do have to drive just a little bit further, but there are a lot of hidden gems out there. Like I said, these two would be more than happy to give you some insight. Hopefully you all learned at least one new thing. I know that all of you raised your hands at the very beginning, stated that you have been camping before, but I hope that you learned something. Either if it's a new spot to camp, an interesting fact, something about a new product that you didn't know of. I'm just going to wrap up real quick by just talking about the key takeaways from this. One, vehicle recommendation. Like I said at the very start of this, four-wheel drive is recommended, not always required. You can absolutely take most vehicles to get to any of these locations. The ones on the slides at least. There are a lot of spots you can get to, but most of them will require like some form of Jeep that can scramble, if that's just the term for Jeeps being able to climb over on rocks with ease. But the biggest thing that I just wanted to leave you with is, as always, the leave no trace principles. So these are very, very important, especially here in Colorado. Number one, plan ahead and prepare. Make sure that you make a list of everything that you need and you follow it to a T as you're packing up your car. Nothing is more frustrating than leaving something behind when you go camping and discovering that you've forgotten it once you get to the campsite. My dad has done that numerous times, so we always triple check. Number two, travel and camp on durable surfaces. Just make sure you're paying attention to where you are planting your tent. There are a lot of areas where you will not see jagged rocks sticking up from the ground, as well as logs. Three, this is the most important in my opinion, as well as number five, dispose of waste properly. We love Colorado. Colorado is an absolutely gorgeous state, and it is our responsibility to keep it that way. So just make sure that whatever you pack in, you pack out. Number four, leave what you find. Obviously, that's pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure you're not damaging any wildlife. You're not damaging any trees, bushes. Five, minimize campfire impact. So just make sure your campfire is smart. and you are not starting any wildfires. In this state, we are very prone to them. They can be pretty disastrous. Number 6, respect wildlife. If you respect them, they will respect you. And then number 7, be considerate of other visitors. A lot of the areas that we listed are areas where it's rare you will have neighbors, but if you go on weekends, you're more likely to have neighbors. Just be courteous of them. Hopefully they're courteous of you. But yeah, that was all I got for you. Thank you so much for coming out, guys. We very much appreciate it.